Good evening, everyone. The two films that I chose to analyze was The Great Culling, Our Water, and Blue Gold, Water, Water Wars. I will start off with The Great Culling, Our Water, which was produced by Framing the World Productions, a production company that is known for pinpointing major world issues that may affect us directly or indirectly. This film first starts off with a quote from Adolf Hitler, which is, "If you tell a lie loud enough and long enough, the people will believe it." At the start of this quote, I felt that the tone of the film had been set. While watching the TED conference video of Adichie, she made a great statement that when being told a story, the audience is impressionable and vulnerable. With that in mind, from the sharing of the quote, the narrator continues with explaining the concept of fluoride in our water supply. The claim is that America is advocating for fluoride to be placed in our water supply by telling us that it is good for our health. This is definitely a hidden agenda, because the documentary goes on to explain that in actuality, America is hiding under the guise by allowing other countries to dump waste into our water supply as a disposal mechanism. The narrator further supports this notion by giving us the fact that other countries have denied the use of fluoride and that America is the only country that allows it in our system. Throughout the duration of the film, the narrator definitely motivates the audience to ask questions, find out the history on things, and to not just accept what the government decides to implement or do. The effectiveness of the film definitely left an impression through the use of revealing history, interviews from the people, and sit-down discussions from experts. Bias did present itself. However, the documentary showed both opinions regarding the use of fluoride. However, the bad opinions outweighed the good, which was the theme throughout the entire film. The film goes on to further explain that all of the countries are aware that fluoride is bad. However, America continues to use it, saying that it is good for your teeth. Another hidden agenda could be America is saying that fluoride is being used for health issues. Therefore, more money would be necessary to treat these health-related issues. I felt The Great Culling created a sense of urgency for the audience. The fact that something toxic is being placed in our water system and how we need to raise awareness and act on it. Sykes et al. Explains that the sense of urgency is a tool the storyteller can use to keep the audience interested throughout the delivery. The second film that I will discuss would be Blue Gold, Water, Water Wars. The narrative in this documentary provides bias to companies because a good portion of the duration of the film illustrates the legal and business dealings of the business of water. It also details the contradiction of how water is a natural resource. However, the hidden agenda is that privatized water companies and governments are selling water and products for profitable gain. It also describes the cycle of water being given away to companies only for them to turn around and resell it to the same source that provided it. Water is power, and it details an overview of what would be considered water wars. In addition, the effectiveness of this documentary was certainly displayed through the story of Pablo Valencio and the effects of him having no water for a week's time. The effects of the body shows how essential water is in our lives, how we need water, and the way the government and industrial companies are using water for their financial gain. Another persuasive tone the documentary showed as well was the display of pollution within the water system. One scene that sticks out in my mind is that of the United States and Mexican border. The agent described the variety of diseases that are present in the water. This also brought out the political aspects of this dilemma as well. There has always been a wider debate about the United States' role in Mexico, and in particular whether U.S. intervention is either desirable or justifiable. This will further show the motivation of the audience and how they would be compelled to pay for clean water while simultaneously displaying a hidden agenda for the privatized companies to set a price of clean water that individuals would be willing to pay. Sykes et al. Makes mention that a key concept in visual storytelling is to help your audience avoid distractions to make the change happen, means using the visual story to keep the sense of purpose alive. To some, I believe that Blue Gold, Water, Water, Wars narrative definitely created a visual story that keeps the audience captivated with that of valid points, which is my opinion. These are my references. And I thank you for your time. Have a good night.